Please, during the questions and when I talk, everybody should sit still. It's still part of the meditation. And if people are moving, it really disrupts the energy in the class. So try and sit still. It's another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Does anyone else have or does anyone have a question they would like to ask? You know, Rudy Samadhi is coming up on Tuesday. And, you know, it's not a day of mourning. It's not a day of unhappiness. It's a day of radiance and joy and love. When one's teacher, one's spiritual mentor truly connects with God, you know, and becomes one with higher energy in the universe. It happens the day we leave the earth. And on the 21st of February is the day of Rudy Samadhi. So it's a day that we really have to take into our hearts. We have to really feel a deep, deep gratitude, because you need to understand what we are doing here is what Rudy bequeathed us. He left us this double breathing exercise, this form of meditation, probably one of the most powerful forms of meditation I've ever encountered, and one that could give everyone that is sitting here a spiritual life. So it's not a time to feel sorrow. It's not a time to feel unhappiness. It's a time to rejoice. And he always told me, he said, you know, just, I've said it a million times, just learn what I have to learn, have to teach, you know, do your inner work, become one with God, build your own connection to God. And all I do is all he did was he developed a craft that enabled me and other students to do that. So that's the miracle of this work. You know, that each and every person that undertakes it and does it in a sincere, deep way can use this meditation practice to open the highest levels of consciousness inside themselves.
Stuart at CISA. I have a question about the hara. I tried to feel it, or I focused on it after last class. Is it possible that
you have to speak up? I can't.
Oh, is it possible that the hara feels like power?
Like who?
Like power, just power, energy, lots and lots of energy.
Well, that's the hara.
That's what it feels like? Okay, I just wanted to know.
Look, it's the rootedness inside you. It's the foundation. You develop what they call, you know, what's called chi. And the chi is the greatest power that exists inside a human being. And in the development of that chi, you know, it gives you the strength to truly work on and develop the rest of the chakra system. So yes, it is power. It is great strength. The hara by itself, without the heart opening, without there being love inside people and the mind being quiet, if you just open the hara and live with that, you know, you become like some egomaniacal power freak, you know, a dictator controlling other people and controlling life. And that's not what meditation is about. You open the hara, not to be more powerful than anybody, but to have more humility than everybody else. To have a deeper sense of surrender inside yourself, and allowing that deeper sense of surrender to help you to open and develop the rest of the chakra system. So the hara is necessary. It's like trying to plant a tree without roots. You know, the roots of a tree determine the life of the tree. If a tree has unhealthy roots, the first strong wind is just going to blow it down. So yes, it is power, it is strength, but it's strength for the purpose of learning how to get the heart open, to quiet the mind, to be a receptacle for higher energy in the universe, to develop inside yourself a spiritual life.
Thank you.
This is all very important because, without this, I mean, we are prey to life's tensions. We're prey to even spirit. It's too strong for us. We need, that is our commitment. If you talk about a covenant with God, it should be that I will build a system that's strong enough to be able to work out my karma and connect with higher energy in the universe. And then if the system of that nature is not built, the only person you have to blame is yourself. Because honestly, we all have the tools inside ourselves. We have everything that is essential in doing what I'm talking about. Then it depends upon how we use them, how we train ourselves, how we get training in life to use these tools to develop a system inside ourselves that can truly connect us with higher energy in the universe. And at the same exact time, enable us to work out our karma in the world. It's a miracle, it is so sacred, this double breathing exercise. I never came across anything, I've read about things in books, but in terms of teachings, I never came across anything like it. Because it cuts away all the fat. It cuts away, if you'll pardon my Bronxese, all the bullshit that goes on in the New Age vernacular, And it gets right down to what a human being truly needs to do to grow. And then it's whether or not you do it. And if you don't do it, then, you don't have anybody else to blame but yourself. Yes. You have a question?
Sorry. So I'm very, very new at this, and I'm wondering how often should I do the double breath?
You should do it only when you need to do it. If your mind is active, if you're daydreaming, drifting away, then you recenter yourself in the navel chakra and you do the double breathing. But if you're really open inside, then that energy the Shakti is coming into you, and it will do a better job of helping you to open inside than even the double breathing. So the purpose of the double breathing is to get you open so that you can receive the higher energy, the Shakti. So you do it maybe 6-8 times in a class, anytime, if your mind begins to drift, if you're thinking about things, if you're, worried about, then you reset and it'll just open the chakra system. And then that energy can come in. A thinking mind, an emotional this and that, is keeping spiritual energy from entering your system, is blocking up all the channels. So you need to learn how to do this. And that takes time and patience. And as I've said 100 million times, the only person you're up against in this, work is yourself. You're not up against, life and the world and all this nonsense that goes on. You're up against yourself.
Yeah.
So just do it when you need to do it. Don't do it continuously. You'll probably get yourself spaced out if you do.
Okay.
And that's not also the purpose of this meditation, to get spaced out. The purpose is to build an inner system that is strong enough to truly become one with God or higher energy in the universe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? So I've decided that Tuesday is Rudy Samadhi. We're having a retreat this weekend. Many of you are not going to be here for the retreat. So I decided that we'll have also a meditation class. I have one in Europe and the Middle East, and people come from 4 continents. But we'll also have one in the evening for people in the Americas on Rudy Samadhi. So if you can put that on your schedule, I will be there. No one else will be there. I'll do it. I'll have a class with me in celebration of Rudy. So there will be a class Tuesday evening. And it came to me that it's Rudy Samadhi. It's a very important day. And it's certainly for me, it's a very important day. I don't know if all of you know, I mean, Rudy took his Samadhi. He was in an airplane crash. And I was in the airplane with him. And the only reason I'm even alive today doing what I'm doing, and this is the God's honest truth, is that when we hit that mountain, his soul force went into me. And it kept me from being killed in that airplane crash. I was holding his hand at that moment. So this is a very sacred day. And my work is to share this with all of you and to try to help raise the consciousness, not only my own consciousness, but all of you who attend these classes. These are not easy classes, and anyone who attends these classes must have a deeper purpose than just staring at me. I really mean that. So, we'll have a class on Tuesday evening, and I hope you all can attend it. We'll celebrate, and it'll be a class of gratitude, of love, of happiness, not a class of lamenting and sorrow and, loss. There's no loss. Understand, I never felt Rudy was ever gone from my life. He's always lived right at the center of my heart. When I was 6 years old, I used to lie in bed, and this is the God's honest truth. I'm not making it up. And at night, I would just say, I hear this voice in my head saying, Rudy, Rudy. I had no idea who Rudy was, but I kept hearing a voice saying that in my head. 19 years later, I met him. So there's no sorrow. A spiritual teacher lives in a real disciple's heart. And the spiritual teacher never stops teaching. They are always there guiding one. So I hope you all make the class. I will be there. Send out my Zoom invites, and I will be there. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And let's take this even another step. Anyone who you love, anyone who's ever loved you, parents, children, your husbands, your wives, your girlfriends, boyfriends, every single one of them lives in your heart. And even the relationships that break up, if you remember back to the good times and what you really experienced and learned from that other human being, you'll feel nothing but gratitude for the time you spent with them. So we'll have a class Tuesday. Every class should be that way, but Tuesday will be especially that way. And the subtitle or the banner of the class will be gratitude. Thank you, Rudy, for making it possible for me to sit here and do this work. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, well, God bless you all and thank you. And as I say 100 million times, you're all my teacher. Being here and sitting here and doing this with you has taught me so much about myself and what growth is all about that I can only say thank you and God bless you all. And I'm hoping, and I say this over and over again, that all of you are learning as much from these classes as I'm learning. So bless you all. I'm looking forward to see. There'll be no class on Sunday because we're having the retreat this weekend. But there will be a class on Monday and then Rudy Samadhi class on Tuesday. So bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Good night.
Good night.